Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel here.
Beyond the realm of want, across the streams of hopes and dreams where things are really not. Come along if you can. Come along if you dare.
Have a good one.
Take a ride to the
Cheers, guys.
inside of your mind. But please realize you'll probably be surprised.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you another video, this time giving my thoughts on and ranking each season of The 100 on the CW that we've gotten so far, ranking all 5 seasons in order of my personal favorites. Feel free to comment below and give yours. So yeah, after the 5th season just concluded, I thought now is a good time to finally rank the season so far. We're of course getting season 6 next year, which is really already shaping up to be pretty intriguing and really different from what we've had so far. But The 100 has been one of my main shows I've talked about on my channel for a good few years now. I reviewed every single episode starting with season 3. And after having caught up on it, and I've only missed like maybe 1 or 2 videos on it since then, and I usually try and get it out whenever I can anyway, so maybe I haven't, I'm not sure. But yeah, The 100, it's one of the main shows, one of the most regularly talked about shows I have on my channel. Yeah, there's certain reviews from like the 3rd season especially that actually have a good amount of views, at least for me anyway. So I thought this would be a good video to do, and not just for that either, but The 100 is one of my very favorite shows out right now. I think it's probably gonna go down, maybe even within my top 10 shows of all time, which is a big video I'll have to do at some point later. But yeah, so there's very good things about every season. I've enjoyed every season of The 100. There isn't a bad season, so don't think that. Really, for me, it just comes down to, of course, you have to take in quality into account, because I think The 100 has progressively gotten better in terms of writing quality and everything like that, which I've talked about a lot this season. But also, the main thing, though, is just kind of my story preferences. What's my favorite part of the story so far, and that's kind of what makes a season number 1, 2, or what have you. So, yeah, let's get right into it. So, yeah, number 5 is going to be season 1, and don't get me wrong, season 1 of The 100, it's a really good one. I actually really like season 1. There was a time where I actually had this a couple spots above. I probably could honestly still put it a little bit higher if I wanted to, because I do really like season 1. Now, some people criticize season 1 because I think it's especially the first couple episodes. The dialogue isn't quite what it is. Eventually, it's a little bit more off, I think. Some of the actors are still getting more used to things, but I think they're all very likable right away, and there's just a lot of intrigue and sort of, I just remember being so interested in how this world was, and season 1 almost has more survival qualities in it than some of the other seasons do. And I just really like the basis for it. The introduction to The 100, I think, is actually a really good one. And I think the season 1 finale is very good as well. I do think the Lincoln thing dragged out a little bit maybe in the season when they were holding him. But I thought everything with Anya and the ship and the grounders attacking, sort of small scale compared to what we're used to, but I liked, again, all the intrigue with the grounders, and even that battle and them trying to hold off the grounders at the ship, I thought was actually pretty good. It's still one of my favorite parts. So yeah, And then you remember the little girl who ended up, killing Wells. Um, that was pretty surprising. So you didn't expect Wells to be killed off, and I think it was episode 4 of this season. I could be wrong. And then her just ended up, actually ended up jumping off the cliff and everything after Murphy had her on the run, and Bellamy kicking Murphy's ass after that. It's still one of the most standout moments for me, especially early on in the show. So, yeah, number 5 is going to be season 1, but again, not taking anything away from it. And number 4 is going to be season 4, ironically. I really gotta get Blu-ray copies of the show. It's a really good visual show, so I really gotta pick some of those up, I think. But yeah, season 4, I liked quite a bit. Yeah, first I had season 1 above it. But I think both season 4 and 5, no matter my story preferences, have just, again, gotten better and better in terms of writing and just the bigger general stories. I think have really elevated over the past couple seasons. And I really like the story in season 4. I think the Prime Fire thing coming again. I thought that added a lot of sort of suspense and sort of them on the clock, which I thought added to sort of the danger and the urgency. I think was handled well this season as well. I actually, obviously, I really like season 3 because you already know it's a little bit higher than this. I do think season 4 and 5 are both more consistent than season 3. I'll admit that. But yeah, season 4 does have a lot of good things about it. Also a little bit more concentration on Roan in the season, Zach and Gowan. Didn't really like how the Luna thing played out so much, but I liked Echo sort of getting more of a spotlight. Her being a character that he had seen like briefly, periodically ever since season 2, and then becoming the sort of mainstay character she is now. I think this is a good sort of another step to that. Her being sort of an antagonist this season. I thought it was really good. I really liked Tacitus. But Octavia's fake death was pretty annoying. Her being stabbed by Echo and her falling off a cliff. I mean, come on, she wouldn't have survived. So that's another little issue. But I thought, again, the finale is great. The Prime Fire, the urgency of all that, is very, very good. Stuff with Jaha and Murphy, again, being more of a dynamic character than ever. And I know there's there's a lot I'm forgetting about these seasons. I can't go into every detail about them, but number 4 is going to be season 4. Season 4 might actually go a little bit higher with time, because both seasons 4 and 5, which I'm going to be talking about next, I haven't watched as much as the others yet, just because they're a little bit more recent. But once I get my girlfriend through them, maybe they'll actually move up a little too, who knows. But yeah, so number 4, season 4. And number 3 is going to be season 5, which just ended. Like I said, with time, both 5 and 4, I think, could potentially move up a little bit. And like I said, season 6 already has a lot of promise. But yeah, season 5 I thought was really, really good. I've enjoyed reviewing every episode of this season. And I've been calling it one of the very best shows on TV, and I think it is. And it doesn't get talked about nearly enough. The time skip, I actually think, worked well. I think it did the show some favors. The whole Clark and Maddie dynamic, at first questionable, turned into a really nice relationship on the show. The tie back to the other commanders and how that story built up, I thought was really good. Octavia, although I know she's annoying for some people, I actually really think I found her more compelling than ever this season with what happened in the Dark Year and them being trapped in the bunker and everything. And just the way Maria Papadopoulos has really embraced, that change for the character this season, I thought was really well played. And how it tied up in the season 5 finale, I thought made for a really good story arc for the character. And Echo, again, I talked about her a little bit already with season 4, but in this, you see her really become a reliable member of the group. I think that worked really well. I know Belark fans are freaking out, but I do like her relationship with Bellamy. And she's a great asset. She's a great help. She's the most probably capable fighter they have, along with Octavia. So I really like the Echo thing. Ivana Milicic as Diosa, I think she was a really good antagonist. Of course, I loved her on Banshee. I think she's really good in the 100, and I like how she wasn't really. She was more of like a, shades of gray, like it should be in this type of story. So I think it ended up working that well with, the character's pregnancy, and, her dynamic with Kane, which I kind of hope to see more of. I didn't think McCreary was a pretty decent antagonist as well. Raven, again, I'm glad they kept Raven around. She's just such a consistent favorite on the show. And I thought the finale for Season 5 was really good as well. Another major time skip, but a really great setup for next season, I think. There's a lot more I could talk about. I really liked the first couple episodes where we see how Clark survived over the 5 years almost on her own, but with Maddie eventually, her going back to a bunker, and then sort of taking one of the pieces to Lex's chair, one of the pieces to Lex's throne. I just thought that was really great character-driven spot we got to see of Clark there. Clark, of course, being the main character and my favorite character. So I thought that was great. And again, with time, I actually think Season 4 and 5 could resonate even more with me. Maybe they could move up a little. But as of right now, number 3 is Season 5. And now, my number 2, my second favorite season of the show. I know it's a little bit controversial for some, but that is Season 3. Here we go. Again, I really need to get Blu-rays. The show should have Blu-rays. I need to get them. But yeah, Season 3, I know it's probably the most controversial season of the show because of what happens with Lexa and, Lincoln. But, despite, I don't really agree with much of it. I'm not going to say I do. The way Lexa died, I think, was a bit, if they're going to kill her off, I don't think it should have been like an accidental shot or something, But really, really well acted, and we still got some really good stuff with Lexa this season. I mean, with her, her fight with Rowan, with the Ice Queen watching, Lexa just steering the Ice Queen afterward was great. The fight was actually pretty well choreographed. Despite her being killed off, I thought she had some great scenes with Clark, and both Eliza Taylor and Debnam-Carey did really well with that. And yeah, Lincoln probably shouldn't have been killed off either. There's some supposed behind-the-scenes issues with him and sorry about that, with him and Jason Rothenberg. But at the same time, I still found a lot of the story, pretty exciting this season. We also had Allie, the AI and everything, which I admit was maybe a little bit played out, but was still a good threat for this moment anyway. And I really thought the Season 3 finale was great, how I ended up tying it back to Alexa playing and Alexa saving Clark and everything. That should have made me happy. And it really made me happy. I thought that was really well done. And all the people that Allie was controlling, climbing the tower and everything, I thought made for some pretty good sequences. The Pike and Bellamy thing was frustrating this season, I admit, at least from Bellamy's end. I could understand Bellamy's perspective on that morally defined job, but it sort of being over the girlfriend being killed off, they didn't really know at all anyway, made it have not quite as much weight to it. But yeah, Season 3, I think it deserves more credit than it's gotten. And so my second favorite season is actually Season 3. At least until, maybe I watch Season 4 or 5 more and we'll see what happens, but yeah. And my favorite season of the 100, number 1, at least for now, is going to be Season 2. This is possibly like the most successful season of the show, I want to say. It's one I really seen people starting to talk about it more. It's when I sort of jumped on when I heard how good this season was. That's when I caught up in time for Season 3 and everything. The whole Mount Weather story I thought was pretty good. Just seeing, characters like Clark and everything, shown like this great society still being held up, or at least, this community of people. The actor who played Dante, seeing him on, Justified and everything, I thought he was a good casting choice. And, it has a really good opening episode or two as well with, Clark and Anya both being, captured, and then them breaking free and sort of actually working together. I thought it was a really good dynamic early on. It was unfortunate that Anya was killed off. Eventually got characters like Lexa and Echo anyway, but still. I really like Bitch on Latchman, especially from her work on Being Human. So it's good seeing her while we did. Also, Clark and Alia's fight I thought was pretty cool. We haven't really had that gritty or dirty of a fight in a while. Yes, I really like that. And the Finn death this season, I thought was really a good landmark moment for the show. The acting in that scene, with Clark, sort of cutting him to kill him as quickly as she could to spare him. What the Grounders were planning. And Raven's reaction, Lindsay Morgan did a great job with that, as well as Liza Taylor, of course. And the Lexa and Clark relationship really started to grow in this. The whole Gorilla thing was alright. Other conversations they had were really interesting. Like Lex telling Clark about Castia and stuff like that, I thought was really good. Then Lexa, betraying Clark but actually trying to save her people was something we now know is, probably Lexa's biggest regret from what we heard in season 5. But it still sort of made sense and made for a really dynamic and again very, very good season finale. The 100 always nails season finales. Season 1 finale was great, and pretty much everyone else. And also Jasper, he really became standout character for the show this season. With his relationship. I forget the girl's name for some reason, but the one that was staying in Mount Weather. The way he sort of snaps at that, but the way he also sort of becomes a leader to people in that bunker when they're trying to rise up, I thought was pretty good. Him killing some of the workers with the axe and everything was cool. The Lincoln stuff with the Reapers is pretty good this season. And so really, there's just a lot of memorable stuff that people still talk about from the show this season. Forgot to mention season 1, Kane was like a pretty good villain, but I really like how he developed, especially in this season, by the way. Becoming a more down-to-earth and sort of a changed character as it went. And Jaha's journey, I thought was really interesting as well. So my favorite season of the 100, at least for now, is season 2. Again, I feel like I gotta watch 4 and 5 again. I think those could actually go a little bit higher. But for now, there's just so much I remember from season 2 that made the show what it is for me. And definitely not gonna forget it. So what are your favorite seasons of the 100? Rank them below. Tell me why, and I'd love to talk more about it. So follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.